This video is all about reducing your risks if you're on a weight loss journey from morbidly obese down the way. It's not about what health benefits you'll get from losing weight. It's all about how to keep on losing your weight and not having to take a break through whatever thing, whether it's injury, etc. So let's talk about reducing your risks of falling off the wagon. Hello, my name is Mark and I'm here to help you live a better, healthier life. My goal is to help as many people as I can get into shape and improve their quality of life. Now, if this is your first time here and you want to learn more about practical and effective ways to improve your health, your fitness and your overall wellness, or if you're just interested in learning more about fitness and nutrition, start now by hitting the subscription button and the notification bell so you don't miss any videos in the future. And now, without further ado, let's jump right in. Okay, so if you are serious about losing some weight and you are morbidly obese to start off with, you've got quite a long way to go. There's quite a lot of time that you're gonna have to put into this, and effort and motivation. And there are lots of things, lots of risks that could put you off your journey. Those risks cover all sorts of things. So today we're not talking about the effect of your being overweight on your health and longevity and all the rest of it. We're talking about those risks that actually push you off your journey and make it hard to keep on going. And this has come about quite a lot through various conversations I've had with people, friends and people through social media, about stories they've given me of they're on a weight loss journey and something's happened that's meant that they're not able to get on with their journey for weeks or months. And it also brings back to me that, doing my neck in, which I know wasn't an exercise injury or anything else, but it did put a serious cramp in my weight loss journey in this last year. So I want to talk a couple of things through first, and the first one is food. You know my opinion on this, or if you've been watching these videos, you know my opinion on this, that changing your lifestyle is much better than just going from one diet to the next to the next. But one of the things that I've noticed over the years is if I cut out completely a food, completely cut it out, after a week or two or maybe 3, all I can think about is that particular food. It is one of those things that as soon as you start saying, I will not eat X, Y, or Z, be it chocolate, be it pizza, be it a curry, whatever it is, as soon as you say, I will not have any more of this, then all you can think about is having some of it. And that is one of those things, one of those risks that will actually risk your weight loss, your journey, because if you're anything like me, which I think a lot of people are, if you crave something and you deny it, and then suddenly you get to eat it, you will eat far too much of it and it will set you back days or weeks. And that's what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid that risk of falling off the journey and going into the deep end of binge eating and everything else. So never absolutely ban a food. Don't do it. Cut down, have it as a treat, have it periodically, have a little bit at a time, right? Because there is no such thing as a bad food. It's the quantity we eat it and the overall calorie deficit. So don't ban anything. Don't say, I will not have chocolate ever again. Because all you'll want to do after a few weeks of not doing it is have some chocolate. Unless you have got far more will than I have. And let's face it, I got to be morbidly obese from having very little willpower when it comes to saying no to food. So if you're like me and you haven't got that iron willpower, which I'm jealous if you do, if you have it, I'm actually jealous because I wish I did. But for me, not banning a food, not banning something helps me not crave it as much because I can have a little bit every now and again as a treat. Another one of the big risks to falling off your weight loss journey is a failure of motivation. Now that can come in many forms and it might not be to do with your weight, it might be family circumstances, it might be work, it might be the current climate at the minute. It could be one of many things. But staying motivated for the long run is so important because if you're not motivated, you're not going to keep on with your journey. And this is a journey, a weight loss journey from morbidly obese to normal weight. I don't think I'll ever get to ideal weight, but let's see where we get to. And it is one of those things where staying motivated is just a massive thing. And a few bits here to try and reduce the risk of losing that motivation is have small goals set. Fit into a pair of trousers or a pair of shorts, or buy, something that is a size smaller and aim to get into it. Have goals that are small and achievable rather than saying, I'm going to lose 300 pounds. Because that's how I started. I started with 300 pounds to lose. And it's just too big a number. It's just huge. It's a huge amount. That's several people. It's really hard to keep motivated when you are hundreds of pounds away from your goal. So break it down into small chunks. Keep a record of those chunks so you can smile and look back and go, I started off at 470 pounds. I'm now 450, 420. It is a lovely thing to be able to go down in shirt sizes and trouser sizes. It's a lovely thing to knock off those little goals, and it will keep you smiling and motivated because even if you have a bad week, you can do this. It just takes perseverance, willpower, and motivation. It has to be done. So break it down into small, achievable goals and have lots of them. Always be going from one goal to the next. You might have a target for the end, right? I am going to weigh, in my case, hopefully 180 pounds, but my target is 200 pounds. After that, I'd like to sort of tone up and things instead, but I'd like to get to 180, but my target, my end goal is 200 pounds, which means I'm in the region of 80 pounds to go, which is still 200 pounds less than I had to go when I first started this journey. But keeping motivated it's key, it's fundamental, because it's one of those things that makes everything you're doing that little bit easier because you know why you're doing it. And having those little goals will help you keep on this weight loss journey, particularly if you are morbidly obese. You need to have those goals to make it something your brain can get its head around in terms of where's my next goal, where's my next target, what I'm aiming for next. And it might be going from an 8XL shirt to a 7XL shirt to a 6. It is one of those things, it's a progression, it's achievable, it will keep you motivated for the long run, for that lifestyle change. Now I've saved the biggest for last. And if you're enjoying this video, please do smash that like button. It helps get the videos out there and hopefully help other people. So this big one for me is injury. Now, I know that you cannot just avoid injury altogether. The trapped nerve in my neck is a prime example of that, because I woke up in the morning and I had a painful neck, and it basically put me on the couch for a good couple of weeks where I was unable to do anything at all. And even after that, the lack of sleep and everything else was really affecting everything, my diet, my motivation, everything to do with my weight loss journey. But there are lots of things you can do to reduce the risks of injury. There are some injuries, like I said, you can't do anything about, but there are lots of injuries you can. One of the reasons why I'm a huge believer in walking for my cardio is that knowing that I'm heavier, knowing that I'm bigger, trying to go for a jog or for a run, from a practical point of view, puts a lot of strain on my knees and my ankles, right? So from a painful point of view, and doing real damage, I could easily turn an ankle, hurt my knee, and that could put me out of the game for quite a while as I recover, and then mentally, it's not good. So doing things that are low impact, yoga, walking, stretching, body weight exercises, these are all things that you can do relatively easy with not a lot of equipment, at home, with friends, on your own. There's lots of things, but I tend to stay away from things that are more impactful on my joints and my body. And it is one of those things that injury would easily push you off the journey, even if it's by a few days or a few weeks, potentially even months. So there are lots of things you can do. Choose lower impact exercises. Like I said, yoga, walking, body weight exercises. The hybrid calisthenics that I've put a link to on my channel is a brilliant channel. I love the guy's attitude for a start, but it's a brilliant channel for giving you body weight exercises that you can progress. A very, very beginner, basic level, and then what you can aim to do, how to make it a little bit harder, to work your way up to, press-ups and everything else. And I think that is a great place to start. It doesn't need a lot of equipment. It doesn't need any gadgets. It is literally just working a progression, getting slowly stronger over time. You can also warm up before you start. Stretch and warm up. Don't go from the couch to trying to do a 5K. I know there are programs like Couch to 5K and things out there, and that's great. But always stretch and warm up before you start. That will reduce your chances of injury. Make sure you stretch and cool down when you finish. So whether it's 100 meters to the shops or whether it's a 10-kilometer walk, you are going to have used muscles that you wouldn't have used, a year before. So warm up and stretch, cool down and stretch. Another one, this is going to sound a little bit daft, but choose appropriate footwear for what you're doing. If you're going walking in the hills, a pair of trainers may not do it for you. Have a pair of walking boots. If you're going walking on a path, you probably don't need the walking boots, but if you've got dodgy ankles, or you want to just take an extra little bit of care because you're not doing that much walking, put a pair of boots on. It will protect your ankle. And it is one of those things that be aware of what you're doing. Don't try and walk 10K in flip-flops or sandals or whatever you want to call them, because you're probably going to get blisters, you're probably going to feel uncomfortable, you'll probably dislike it, which will bring your motivation down. It is one of those things that be comfortable, be appropriate for what you're doing. And it is one of those things that somebody I was talking to this week, a friend who is a runner, and they are knocking it out of the park in terms of going running every day, doing walks every day, being very active. They've lost a shed load of weight, and I'm well impressed with them. But he was talking about a friend of ours, who went to start running, ended up doing a little bit, and then actually had to go to the doctors because he'd hurt himself from that high impact work. So pick things that are appropriate. Don't try, remember those achievable goals? Don't try and go from living on the couch, doing nothing at all apart from going to the kitchen and to the toilet, to trying to do a 10K, not in one step. Break it down into little bits. Go from the couch to walking for 10 minutes 2 or 3 times a day, walking for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour. Try and walk that little bit quicker. Build it up. So from wherever you start, no matter where you want to get to, there are little steps that you can take that will get you there in the end, safely, enjoyably, and something you'll be proud of and will keep you motivated as you're going along. So don't jump in at the deep end. Don't do what I did 3 or 4 years ago now. I'd lost a little bit of weight, I was feeling great, I was feeling a bit better about myself. I decided to go back to one of the things I used to really enjoy playing as a kid, which was badminton. Badminton is one of those games that it looks quite slow and quite graceful and everything else, but it's actually really quick and you build up a sweat, and I was really getting into it. I got a bit too eager, a bit too cocky, and I went for a shot I probably shouldn't have, hurt my foot, and that was me on the couch again for probably about 4 or 5 weeks. I've learnt my lesson. I have. Low impact, at least for another 50 or 60 pounds, low impact is where I am at. Low impact is something that it will protect me from injury. I'll enjoy it. I've got my goals. I also don't have the embarrassment of being bigger, bouncing around all the time while I'm trying to jog, which is not comfortable. Although it's funny for other people, it's certainly not funny for me when I'm doing it. It's quite painful and it's a little bit embarrassing. So for me, another 50 or 60 pounds to go before I do anything that is more kind of impacty. But I'd like to get there. It is one of my goals, one of my many goals to go for. But it is one of those things where start off by avoiding those risks. If you are morbidly obese, you are carrying that extra weight, trying to go for a jog or a run, A, will demoralize you, B, you could well injure yourself, which will put you back and make you more demoralized going forward. So please, bear in mind where you're starting from. Have lots of little achievable goals as you're going through. And always bear in mind how you can reduce the risks of being forced off your weight loss journey. Not through choice, not because you want to give in or anything else, but because you're medically demoralized, hurt, injured, and you have no option but to sit on a couch for a couple of weeks. Because then you just need to get back to where you were before, which is always a little bit depressing. It is. So let's try and reduce those risks. Let's try not to ban and cut out food completely, just cut it down and have it in moderation. Try not to be demotivated by it. Have lots of little achievable goals so you can see your progress, take some pictures, have a look back on where you've come from. Even if you're having a bad week, you will have come quite a long way. And let's try and avoid those injuries that are not necessary. Those ones you can do something about. Wear the right footwear. If you are significantly overweight, choose things that are lower impact. There are lots of things out there. And if you're stuck at all, please do reach out either in the comments or through social media, and I'll happily give you a whole pile of suggestions of things I've done to get as far as I have, and things that I'm planning to do to get further along my weight loss journey. I hope that has helped. I hope it's something that people will bear in mind when they're on their weight loss journey. And as always, I will see you in the next video.